This is Mastering Mathematics with your teacher, Karen Weston.
Hello Antigua, Barbuda and the rest of the world. Welcome again to another series, Mastering Mathematics. Today, it is crunch time. On the 21st of May, it's not only nomination day in Antigua, Barbuda, but all students writing that CSEC school leaving examination will be asked to come and face the test. So what do I want to do? I want to just take some time. We're going to be quiet, and I just want to go through those papers. Of course, we know this is a program sponsored by the Ministry of Education using its EBE unit and ABS Television and the Mathematics Center right here in Antigua. Yes, we are going to prepare you to get into that examination room. Some examinations have failed because students are not prepared. So we are coming down to talk to you. Okay? Have a little talk here going on. Strategizing as we go forward. Examination is at hand. I am using Mathematics for CSEC, a Caribbean Examination Council study written by Andrew Manning, Patricia George, Marcus Cade, Ava Mothersill, and Angela Finley. Alright? These were the people that put this book together, and I find it very good in terms of giving a revision. Now, what have we been doing? And I'm just taking you through some stuff. Yes, you know right away that we will be faced with number theory, computation, sets, and consumer arithmetic. Okay? Number theory, computation, sets, and consumer arithmetic. Are we ready for those topics? Because we should be. Our number theory, we say that sets the stage for everything. So what are we going to know? Yes, there are rules, there are laws, there are sequences in terms of how we approach mathematics. So you, I expect, must know your rule for bundas. We know our rule for sequence. We know our rules for the different types of numbers. The laws, distributive law, commutative law, associative law. We know what the law of closure says. We know the additive identity. And we know the multiplicative identity. Okay, go through, take your time. Even if you don't have it in your textbook, Google it. It is right there. Calm and cool. We know our question number one will be this number theory with computation. What are we expected to get? We're expecting fractions. Okay, and my grade 6 students are doing those, grade 4 students are doing those too. Okay, and then 3 nice little words that we have to know. And what are they? So we're talking about, and let's write them because you think you will remember them. 1, we talk about decimal places. Okay, decimal places. We talk about 2, significant numbers. And 6, you may use a term to tell you it is scientific notation. Or they may tell you to write it as capital A, that's the number, times 10 to the n. And whatever they use, we know it is our standard form. Whatever they use, we know it is our standard form. Okay, so I am highlighting this stuff because we've done all these. They are on your website too. They are in any little books. So again, we're just going through. And grannies and daddies and uncles, sorry, but this time I just have to be pointing out these things. You write them down too, and ask your daughter, your son, your cousin, ask them if they did that. Look and see what I'm writing. They must know how to round off numbers to decimal places. They must know how to get into significant numbers, giving their answers to a certain amount of significant numbers. The scientific notation, okay, or the standard form. And I have said all the laws governing, okay, the laws related to mathematics that we do at this level, which includes our commutative law, okay, associative law, closure, okay, distributive law, and of course we have to know bundles, okay, or you may choose to call it, so because the multiplication and the division, they're interchangeable, okay, so we need those. And students, do not think because you have your calculators that you don't need to know your tables. You need to know your multiplication tables, okay? So you need to know those. And with this, the different types of numbers. Tell me what is an irrational number. Integers. And all the things we've been saying with the different numbers. Alright, they are important. We also need to make certain that you know the difference between multiples and grade 6. You too can do some of these. Multiples and factors. Okay, so because that would set the stage for you, and you know what I'm going to do right here? I'm going to put into that you know you're going to get algebra, and what is important, especially for the multiplication law, that this, when we add and keep the sign when we of the biggest number, but for multiplication, with our algebra, and it can be done with directed numbers too, okay? A negative times a negative would give you a positive times a positive would give you a positive, negative times positive would give you negative, positive times negative would give you negative. So in terms of the algebra, in terms of directed numbers, what are we saying? When the signs are the same and we're multiplying them, the answer is positive. When the signs are different, it's not the size of the number. When we multiply them, the answer is negative. Okay? The answer is always going to be negative. So, the onus is upon you now. And remember, in searching for your ones, note again, I'm giving you these things. 1 is not a prime number. Okay, so note that. Because in the multiple choice, you can get these things and you must know. 1 is not a prime number. Right? We must have two numbers and 1 and itself. 1 only has 1. 2 is the only even prime number. 2 is the only even prime number. Okay? And again, we must not confuse factors and multiples. Alright? We're not going to confuse those. And we talk about, and you must know square numbers, prime numbers, composite numbers, factors, and multiples. Okay? So those are the first things that I'm telling you. Operations with decimals too. We know that you must get those, and you're going to make certain that we know that. Factors, okay, fractions shouldn't give you anything. Real numbers, bills, etc. All these things, finding percentage, discount, profit. Put the words down, and in the quiet of your place and your room, you're going through them. Conversion. You don't have to do a perfect paper to pass the exam. You have a core of things you can pass on there, and so make certain that you do them. And again, for examination tip, all percentages are based on the original price. Higher purchase means that you're depositing, so don't forget when you get something with higher purchase and asking you how much you'll be paid, that you have to make certain that you're also adding in what you had to deposit first before you could walk out of the store with the goods. Okay, so today you're listening, you're writing. I'm going to give you a little chance to catch up, to digest what I've said so far in terms of the whole area for the arithmetic part of it, ratio, standard form, the laws of indices, all these, okay, and looking for ordering patterns, because that is usually your number 8 question that comes, just something that you say, this is not even maths, this is child's play. All right, so take a little break and we'll be right back.
Carefully read over the sections of your textbook assigned by your teacher and look carefully at the sample problems. Decide if you benefit more by reading before or after the instructor covers the material.
Complete all readings and especially homework assignments as soon as possible after they are announced. And definitely complete all assignments before new material is covered. This ensures that the information is fresh in your mind and linked to more basic concepts previously learned. Do your assignments early enough to allow you to get help with the things you do not understand.
Don't look on what I cannot do. Focus on what I can do. I may not say the word as zero, but I can hear and feel it as strongly.
I may not hear, but that does not and should not affect my ability to learn and to function in the real world.
I am a gifted student. I need the opportunity to soar. Support me in my climb to higher levels of learning.
Some of our children have special educational needs. They have a right to an education. So, let us teach them the way that they learn and help them to achieve their full potential.
Make healthy choices. A message from the 5 Islands Primary School.
Alright, so yes, we continue because this is serious. And I'm calling out the topic so that you can know. So again, we have said what we from the beginning, what you have to know. ordering and ordering patterns and sequences comes through. That again, you look on your question paper, you see them asking you what is the nth term. Remember, when it's the nth term, they're asking you for you just put one of the numbers and say, how did you get the answer for this? And you're putting it in, okay? Properties of numbers and operations. We know what inverse means. We know the word reciprocal, okay? So that if I had the number 3, and asked you for the reciprocal of that, we know that 3 is really 3 over 1. And always saying we turn the numbers upside down, okay? We turn the numbers, so we call it inverted in nice standard English, yes. But for us, we turn the numbers upside down. So the 1 would be here and the 3 would be here. And this is the reciprocal of 3. So if it was a third, if they gave you a fraction, 2/3, and asked you for the reciprocal, it would be 3.2. So we're knowing those words too, okay? And then, of course, you have your number basis. And what did we say? The number basis is hinged along the same way as our base 10. Because in base 10, what are we doing? We're saying 10 to the 1, 10 to the 0 first, then 10 to the 1, then 10 squared, 10 cubed. Any base they give you follows the same pattern. If it is base 5, it's 5 to the 0, then 5 to the 1, 5 squared, 5 cubed. So you can get your values. So the values in base, then we're using a base 5. You'll be going 1s, 5, 25, and just multiplying by 5 coming up, and this would be 125. Okay? And that is what we are doing. So the pattern for the basis, don't think that you don't know what you have to do. They're under the different subheads, and then so when they're asking you to change back to your base 10, then you have to get the value. So if they gave you 2, 4 in base 5 and asked you, what would that be equal to in base 10? What would we be saying? We have 4 1s and we have 2 5s. And all you have to do is to multiply 4 1s are 4 plus 2 times 5, 10. So the answer will be equal to 14 in base 10. Okay? Anything they give you, you put up your values. Base 3 and you're going 3 to the 0, 3 to the 1, 3 squared. Get in the values. That this is 1, that's 3, that's 9, etc. Alright? So the numbers they give you, fit it in on the chart, multiply by the values at the top, add them, and you get back your base 10 number. That is what the bases are. Alright? So which one of these would represent the basis? Do not try to memorize anything in terms of saying, oh, I see that number already, and I think that that was the answer. We worked that in class. No, use the concept, okay? Use the concept, the technique. What am I supposed to be doing? Okay? You are in control. You're not going to be saying in control does not mean you know every last question. When you get your examination paper, take your first 10 minutes, read through the entire paper, strategize, look and see, okay, so fine. And the marks that they have for the question will tell you what time you're spending on each question. If you know you can complete a question, they finish it quickly, move on. You're getting onto a question in the compulsory section, you're not getting the solution, move on. Alright? Choose, work wisely. Work wisely. And it's not what Karen Weston said, it's what you want to do when you reach in that examination room. So if I would have said to you, oh, do the 50-point question first and then go to the cup. No, you will go in the examination room. It's you. You're choosing your questions. And there's nothing to say that you have to do 1, 2, 3, but you have to number them. Number the questions. Which question did you do? Which question? And remember that you're writing on 1 page, okay? New question starting on 1 page. Don't forget that. You have paid for the papers, so just use up the papers, alright? Each question starts on a new page. Okay, now, so we know simple interest. although the formulas are on the front of the paper, make certain you're familiar with them. Then you're just looking to see, yes, I'm using the right stuff, okay? And we have measures, so we have metric, okay? The imperial system, we have the length, we have metric and imperial comparisons. Okay, so we're going to make certain that we know those. And our little tip here says now, treat currency and measure conversions as ratios. We understand? Treat currency and measure conversion. And treat currency and measure conversion as ratios. And it says, remember, time is not metric. 4 hours, 30 minutes is equal to 4.5 hours and not 4.3 hours. Okay, not 4.3 hours. And it says learn the key metric and empirical equivalent. What are they talking about? So we know 100 centimeters will be equal to 1 meter. You know, kilo means 1,000, and that is the sort of thing. Centi, 100, milli, 1 over 1,000. Okay, so make certain you know your stuff. Yes, okay, so milli, the key points, milli, 1 over 1,000, centi, 1 over, in terms of kilograms, okay, and kilo is 1,000. Centi is equal to 1 over 100 for kilo, all right? And remember again our timing, AM and PM. It makes a difference for what you want to do for your calculations. And of course we have our set notation, okay? Set notations. And by now all of us know that when we have our different little pieces here, that we have to get into the set. And what is required, again, you have your Venn diagram. We have our Venn diagram. 2 circles. It can be 3 too, but I just want you to see something. A, B, universal set. What is important is for us to know the name of the regions, okay? This entire set, the entire set is A, okay? And if they say A only, all right, A only, it is this region where we're only going to find people in one color, okay? If it says B also, A only, and it says B only, it's over here again, okay? And in the intersection where you're going to find both of them socializing is in that part there. So straight ones and, okay, dot to dot, in that region there. So study your sets, okay? And we did that in terms of geometry too, all those points, okay? Points, whatever, the straight lines, the angles, different triangles, the theorems for the circles, they're very easy. Sit and learn them, all right? And then we get on to what we're calling measurement, okay? Not measurement, practice, exam questions, perimeter and area. Yes, in terms of that, the perimeter and the area. Remember that although you have been taught that the circle, you talk about circumference. Remember, they can just get you off guard and talk about perimeter. And don't say you didn't know that that is what it meant, all right? And I want to show you that even in terms of these diagrams, do not make the full diagram make you feel, I can't do it. It's not as bad as that. Every question they're asking you, you can take out a little figure, either the rectangle, a triangle, or a little circle, and just work them in sections, because that is what it usually boils down to, okay? Remember again, now we have the areas, and you must put square whatever the unit is. So when you multiply, you get your areas. Remember, it is centimeters squared, meters squared. If you don't put that, you're not going to get your marks, okay? Practice too, especially for the girls, the construction. Just look at some of them and see that we have for our papers, those constructions. And I'll give you a little secret to those of you who have friends with your doing physics. Just look at the book sometime, because CSEC sometimes goes to the physics book and take out that same distance graph I said that Mr. King, but now I know it's election time and he's very busy now. But you can still phone him, he'll still answer you, okay? But again, those distance graph, they're coming straight from that physics book in terms of what it is. And we do know it's going up like gradient, and we know right away what it is. On the flat plane, we know no movement is taking place. And then when you start coming down the other side, you know you're decreasing. Make certain you know your formula. Speed is equal to what? Distance is equal to what? Time is equal to what? Velocity, okay? And the acceleration. These are a few little words you're using with these things. And as long as we're going, remember you're sitting an exam. You're not going in half prepared. That is your task now, okay? And surprisingly, you're getting the English paper first on one day and the maths on the other day. So it's easy for you just to calm yourself, study the things around, and see what is. We know circles, we know that we have for the circle center theorem, angles in the same segment. You hear the word tangent and radius, you know there's a right angle. You hear tangent, two tangents from a common point. You know the lines are equal, so you're going to get isosceles triangle. And then again, we look again a chord and the tangent, and we know so the angle between the chord and the tangent is equal to the angle in the alternate segment. Just open up your books and look at them. Don't get flustered, okay? And I want to tell you, because that's what I'm telling my friends in Barbados too. You could have been in school for nearly 10, 20, 11 years. It's what you're going to do in these past few days that's going to count, okay? And we can do it. Tomorrow, I'm going to continue in terms of telling you about your revision. And in truth and in fact, I'm going to be working 2 of the questions from the section 2 that I know I am picking for you and telling you that you can do, and want you to concentrate on them because those things are easy. Again, go into coordinate geometry. You know our question number 2 on the factorization, and we murdered that, right? Look and see how many types we have, and you're working with that. Now, what I'm going to do tomorrow is to show you one where you have a quadratic equation and a straight line, and you'll still ask for that, okay? And we'll just begin by telling you about the gradient and the graph, and from there we will be taking you straight onto that. So today's just talking, telling you about the things that you would do, picking up yourself and saying, hey, did I study that? Just reminding you about the things you have to prepare now. And do not get flustered. Do not go to an examination room late. If you're going, anytime you go to an examination room, just turn back. Hey, finish there. Alright? Only my brother can go into an examination room at 1 hour before class, and that's what I'm talking about. Okay? But you don't do that. And parents just keep looking and asking, what's the timetable? Tell them to give you one. Put it on the fridge. Put it where you can see it. You put it in your bag. Or some of you, you put it right in your head. Right here, okay? And make certain, because you've paid, you've done your job. And now at the final end, don't say you forgot or you thought the day was that day. So, wait again. Remember, it's calm, cool, collected. You have enough at your fingertips to pass that exam. So tomorrow now, I'm going to take you through and remind you about some of the questions in section 2. So keep on studying, keep on revising. Don't go and sit with anybody talking about you coming to study and spend half the time talking. Those people are not your friends. Okay? So see you tomorrow. And grannies, we'll get back to working questions when this is finished.
Join us next time for another in the series, Mastering Mathematics, a production of the Education Broadcasting Unit in the Ministry of Education and ABS TV.